Hey everybody, it's DJ and welcome back to Over Here We Craft for Money. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 things that you will need to think about if you would like to take your love of crafting and turn it into supplemental income as a small business. So please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel as my intro plays, and I will meet you on the other side.
Welcome to Over Here We Craft, the channel dedicated to helping you turn your love of crafting into supplemental income. I'm DJ, a small business owner, a crafter, and low-key, an undercover foodie. Connect with me on Facebook and TikTok. Now let's get into this next video.
All right. So the first thing that you got to do is you got to come up with a business name. What are you going to call yourself? Now, this is where you can let your creativity run wild, okay? My small business is called Finer Deals. It has an association with my sorority, which is my audience that I am selling my products to, but it also indicates what I hope I'm giving people, which is value for a great deal. So that's kind of how I put mine together. However, there are many profitable businesses that bring in supplemental income with a variety of different kinds of names. The only thing that I'd encourage you to think about as you think about what you want to name your business is if you go with something like your name or your child's name or your parent's name or a name of a person, that will not tell a lot of the social media algorithms and platforms what your business actually is. So that may mean you have to do a little bit more work when it's time to start to do your marketing for your small business. But I don't want to make that stop you from coming up with the name that you've been thinking and dreaming about as soon as that seed of starting a small business popped into your mind and your heart. So again, the first thing you got to figure out is what are you going to call your business, right? And if you intend to structure your business and formalize your business and get registered, say, in your state of residency, you are going to have to come up with the name and get it registered, or decide if you're going to be an individual doing business as. That's a whole nother video. And if you want some information about how or what the options are out there for you to structure your small crafting business, I would be happy to do a video about that. Please go ahead and drop in the chat if that's something that you would be interested in. I am not a legal expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I definitely will be an open book and share with you guys my journey and what I did to register my business, at least here in the state of Florida. So again, number one, what is your business name going to be? Be as creative as your heart and head will allow. Let's figure out what number two is. Number two, you're gonna have to think about what do you plan to sell? Do you plan for it to be a handmade item that you make with your own 2 little hands? Do you plan to outsource your item and have it made by a third party or a partner vendor that you are then going to be the face of and sell? Are you going to engage in the print on demand business? Taking your crafting business and turning it into something that can make you some supplemental income will require a choice at this stage of the game because you really just have to figure it out. Now, in full transparency, when I first started my small business, I thought my business was going to be print on demand. It was a lot more detail into that effort than I thought or what the videos led me to believe. All in all, what I discovered is I love touching my products. I love being involved in making something from nothing, from the beginning to the final product. There's a sense of pride that I feel when I make a rhinestone tumbler for my customers. I get very excited when I brush my own stones into my shirt and make something cute like what I have on today. So that's just my personal choice. But for you, starting out, how are you crafting right now? Are you doing something in your place of residence where you live? Or do you have bigger dreams of, hey, I want to outsource. I'm ready to expand and grow. Whichever way you choose to go, and there is no right or wrong, and who knows, you may have a combination of one or more of those strategies. But keeping in mind you got to think about what it is that you want to sell. And I guess I would throw in there, you might want to even think about, am I really excited about certain holidays? And that's when I'm going to, focus myself on those kind of products. Is there a certain type of product that I like? And so that's what's kind of going to guide me to determine what I want to sell. For example, I love making wreaths. Maybe I want to make a business built around making wreaths, right? So then I've got to determine, well, that wouldn't be a print on demand business because there's not a print on demand company that's going to hand make a wreath for someone. But you can do that with your hand. Versus, I may want to make t-shirts, maybe not rhinestone t-shirts. I want to make silk screens or direct to transfer or things of that nature. So I may want to do vinyl. Well, maybe I want to outsource that and do print on demand, or maybe I want to design something, have someone else make my screens, and I just need to press them. Either way, that's something that you're going to have to decide when you start a crafting business that you want to take into a lucrative, let me make a little bit of coin out of it. You got to figure out what you plan to sell. Let's figure out the third thing that you need to think about. The third thing you need to think about is how much is it going to cost for you to get started? And that answer is going to depend on what you've decided you want to sell. If you've decided that your small crafting business is going to move and make you some money by being a digital product seller, then it may cost you a monthly subscription to a platform that would allow you to create your digital products and then begin to upload them to a site like Etsy or Pinterest that costs you nothing. So the cost may be for the platform you need to create the digital product. If you're going to be more tactile and make something that's handmade, maybe you make wreaths, maybe you make t-shirts, maybe you make coffee mugs, maybe you make tote bags, maybe you make wooden signs, whatever that thing is that you hand make, you are going to need some startup costs for that. Now, does that mean that you need to go out and buy a whole bunch of wood and all the burlap and the ribbons and the vinyl and the cutter machine just so you can make one wreath to sell? No. You may just go out and buy a little bit, enough to make one of the items that you want to say sell, make some really great photographs out of those, stage some really good photos in and around your environment, put that out there, and let the money that you make from selling that first item fund you buying the next materials that you need to make a little bit more once you get those orders in. You may decide to do a pre-order. I'm going to make one bling t-shirt, take some really cute photos of myself, put it out there on my personal social media, let folks know that I'm taking a pre-order. Hey, today is, I don't know, May 8th, and pre-orders are going to start to ship on June 1st. But you'll take orders from May 8th all the way up and until that point. So as those orders come in, that's the money that you'll go use to buy the t-shirt and additional rhinestones to make your shirt. So another way to go about that is, hey, pre-orders. I'm not going to stock a whole lot of materials and blanks. I'm just going to make enough, buy enough to make one, and let that get me started, right? Something else you got to think about as the startup cost is, how are you going to sell it? Do you need to put up money to get yourself a website made, right? If you go with, say, someone like GoDaddy, there's going to be a monthly fee that you've got to pay for the platform to get set up. Do you decide you're going to sell your products on Shopify? Again, there's a monthly fee. Now, you can pay for all those things on an annual basis, but when you're getting started, that may be too much of an expense that you have to come up with upfront. So you may start monthly just to kind of see how you get to generate your revenue. Or you can lean into some platforms like Pinterest and Etsy where you cannot pay for what you sell until you sell it. That's, not something you have to come up with. Now, those platforms do take extra fees, and it will be up to you to kind of figure out which one is going to work best for you. I myself have a Shopify website, and I also have an Etsy store, because for me, the investment of touching two different types of audiences means that I bring more attention and more potential customers to my business to buy what it is that I sell. And I definitely plan to do a video that tells you about the pros and cons of Shopify versus the pros and cons of Etsy, because I think they all have pros and cons, and I want to be transparent and share with you what I've learned in my journey. So, thinking about that, how much is it going to cost to get you started? You know what you're going to sell, and you can calc that amount out, but then figure out some ways to make it a little more affordable for you until you start to build your revenue. Let's figure out what you need to think about as number 4. The fourth thing that I want you to think about as you're going through this journey about how do I move my fun, hobby version of crafting into some lucrative money for myself, is how am I going to market? You definitely have to think about what your marketing plan is going to look like. And I know marketing plan scared me when somebody said, "Well, what's your marketing plan?" I'm like, "Marketing plan? I just want everybody to buy what I sell. What are you talking about? Marketing? You mean I got to think about this?" Yeah, you kind of do, right? But I'm not going to overwhelm you because I didn't let myself get overwhelmed. What I mean by what will your marketing plan be, I start with where will you put this information out? Word of mouth is something obviously that you're going to do, but most of us have at least a personal Facebook page. Most of us have at least a personal Instagram page, and TikTok has just exploded everywhere. So now most of us have a personal TikTok page. Now, we may not go and put anything on there every day, but that is a place that we can get started. If you've started following people, people have started following you. But either way, you've got to figure out how you're going to market. Are you going to do some pins and Pinterest to drive traffic to where you want them to go? Are you going to start a YouTube channel like I courageously started to do? You've got to figure out how are you going to get the word out about your business, right? Now, you may decide, you know what, I'm not ready for social media, or I don't want to put it on my personal, I'm not ready for all of that. Maybe you just want to do marketing in person. So you're going to look online and figure out where they're in-person craft shows, where are there opportunities for you to go and market yourself and sell your products. The summertime is coming, at least at the time I filmed this video. And if your city is anything like the one that I live in, there are tons of summertime festivals that you can go and pay a nominal fee. Most of the time, a vendor fee ranges anywhere from $25 to $50, depending on where you live. And it gets you the opportunity to show up, set up a table with everything that you plan to sell. They do all of the marketing, and sometimes they'll ask you to share the upcoming event on your social medias. But for the most part, that's what your fee paid to them gets you, is marketing. So once they show up, it's time for you to do your thing and show what you sell and hopefully make you some money from that. So number 4 is you got to think about how you're going to market. And really, I don't think there's any right or wrong in the platforms that you choose. I tend to do more of my marketing on Facebook and also on TikTok, not so much Instagram, but that's just what works for me. You get to decide what works for you. The 5th thing to think about before you start moving your love of crafting into a business that can bring you some supplemental income is, when are you going to start? And I have got the answer. I don't like to tell people what to do. Well, I do kind of like to tell people what to do. But in this case, I'm going to tell you, when are you going to get started? Today. Today is the day that you're going to get started on this. You've been thinking about wanting this. You've been thinking about wanting to start your own business. You've been thinking about, hey, I make beautiful items, and I just know that somebody is willing to buy it. But you'll never know that if you don't get started. So why not start today? Come up with your business name, figure out what that business name is going to be, decide what you are going to sell. Just decide one thing that you're going to sell. Go look at everything that you've made that you just love what you did and ask yourself, which one is my favorite? And start with that one, right? Put it out there on your social media page. Even if your page isn't fancy, even if you don't know how to make a reel, even if you don't know how to do one of those challenges where they're dancing and, get a million views. It's not about you getting a million views. It's not about you going viral. It's about you putting the thing that you make out there in the world because somebody is waiting to buy it, right? And you got to start today because tomorrow is not promised. Check it off today. You'll feel awesome about yourself. Somebody out there is going to see it. And who knows, before the end of the week, you may actually get your first sale that you could say started under your business. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found it encouraging. I hope it motivates you to just get started today. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Again, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I am continuing to try to grow my presence on YouTube, and that is a free way that you can help me do that. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And to all my money makers out there, you can do it. I believe in you. Now go be great.